Okay, we're live now.
Okay. Hi, Mary.
Hi,
Good to see
t-
you.
you too. Today
All
we're
right.
in the car and you're off. Stay on the line.
What's that?
Now I said today I'm in the car and you are offline or off camera.
Yeah, I am. I'm off camera because I'm doing something that don't want you to see.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So today we are talking about how to collaborate with a powerful name. Just as we usually do, just to summarize, we where we are. We started by talking about the importance of a name. We also talked about advantages of a powerful name, creating a powerful name, using a powerful name, increasing a powerful name. And we
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about how to collaborate if you have already created a powerful name, you know how
Mm,
to use it, and you are already increasing it. One of
mm,
the ways that we kind of brushed yesterday is collaborating as part of increasing a name, but we decided this is worth giving a chapter because it's one of those major things that will, you know, really increase your name. So let's just give it a chapter and focus
focus,
on
yeah.
how to go about doing that because that can be a little bit tricky. So
Hmm.
the ball is on your court.
Okay. Yeah, so keep going straight. Sorry. There's going to be a bit of direction as I'm going, but I'm in the car.
We're
So,
gonna we're gonna we're gonna include all those things in the book anyway. When we are talking about collaborating with a name, we'll say, you need to go straight when you are collaborating.
turn left. Drive. Oh dear. But yeah. So first, I mean, yesterday we just kind of touched on it a little bit, but I'll just quickly. I don't know if my camera goes off when I do that. So the first thing is to first of all understand the key word collaboration, which is the action of working with someone to produce something. So the moment we understand clearly what is the essence, or what are we trying to achieve here, or what does this word collaboration really mean, it definitely means there are two people involved. There's yourself, there's someone else involved in it, and there are some basic skills that you need when uh, I might call it skills, yeah, when collaborating, and one of it is the ability to trust. Okay, now that might sound really simple, or might sound like something. Oh yeah, I mean, like, trust. It's not as simple as it sounds. I'm not talking about just trusting the other person because you know the person and everything, but the ability to really trust. Because sometimes we go into relationships, we have, once bitten twice shy kind of situation, and we think, oh no, so we go into a relationship um, with that mentality of, can I trust him? No, some people even say they don't even trust people, so they, but you have to be able to, one of the major skills is being able to go into that relationship um, with trust. That's one. And of course, you also have to be trustworthy. All right. People have to be able to trust you, which we yesterday we talked about integrity. So before you can go into the kind of collaboration that we're talking about here, you have to be trustworthy. And trust is definitely not something that you just walk into the supermarket and get, or just meet someone today and just um, you think that, I mean, I always say there are different levels of trust, and to a certain degree of what is required, a certain level of trust is also required. So example, if I want to, and I'm just going to use a business situation, if I want to buy an item and that item cost, let's say I'll use the dollar rate so that it cuts across. Let's say it costs $5, all right, or even less, all right. I may not pay attention too much to, oh, would this product really work? Would it really be useful? Am I so sure of? Um, is it traffic in front? Yeah. Sorry? Am I so sure of this product? All those, all those considerations that you would need to make to really trust the product to to be able to make the buying decision. But if that product is, so the level of trust required at that point is minimal, because obviously the consequences is also very minimal. Um, but if you are to spend $1,000, maybe $500, or even more, your consideration is going to be a lot higher, because number one, you're going to be thinking of the making sure that the product will, to be able to trust the product to actually deliver on what it has said, what it has promised. So being able to deliver on what is promised is very important at that point, because consequences and of course the input from you or from any other person is a lot more meaningful. So that's just to give an example of different levels of trust. Okay, but going to a collaboration, you have to have an open mind. First, be positive. That going to it with a positive um, 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 mindset first, that it's going to work. So that's just one. The other would be, uh, I just talked about trust right now as one of the skills. The others would be, being reliable, tolerance, and self awareness. So being reliable is, you like to be able to rely on, to have a track record of being able to deliver, because in every relationship there's also going to be your part to play. So you basically have to be a reliable person. You have to have self-awareness, and self-awareness is really important. And I'll give you an example of self-awareness. So I am very I have self-awareness of the fact that I love, to a large extent, I like to do things to a certain level of excellence and perfection. So when I go into a relationship, especially one that has work involved, or whatever relationship, I do know that I'm going to stress on things that some people might find not important to stress about. Okay, so that self-awareness just allows me to know, um, to know myself, and then obviously know that not everybody is going to be the same. Where are you going? That's where you're going. All right. So not everybody is going to be the same. Not everybody has the same values, and then I have to determine, based on my self-awareness, that what is most important, what is non-negotiable, etc. So this, I'm just talking about the required skills for collaboration. I don't know if you want to chip in there. And I talked about tolerance, so your ability to, I call it long suffering, your ability to really, be very, to, to give people the benefit of the doubt, a lot of it. One of the things I think we talked about yesterday is being self-sacrificial, having love, that, and where we use the example that God, so loved the world that he gave. And that's one of the characteristics and personality that is going to strengthen your ability to collaborate, and actually make your collaboration an enduring one. All right. So
Yeah.
yes, to make your collaboration an enduring one. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So you have talked about three qualities, or three attributes that are required of anyone who wants to collaborate, who has a name that wants to collaborate. You talked about trust. You talked about being reliable, reliability, and you also talked about tolerance. I'm kind of thinking those are powerful points, but I'm also kind of thinking that maybe before we even talk about all these three, we need to talk about having integrity, right? Because if you have integrity, you will be trusted. If you have integrity, you become reliable. If you have integrity,
Mhm.
people will learn to tolerate you. So I guess that will be a fourth, but maybe we will kind of hinge these three on that
Mhm.
idea of integrity, that integrity is foundational for you to be able to collaborate with people. What makes people
Mhm.
trust you is your integrity. What makes people rely on you is your integrity. What is it that makes people to tolerate even your weaknesses? It is, your integrity. So I just wanted to chip that in, and yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I actually stated that, saying that yesterday we did talk about integrity as one of. So I just kind of, so that's absolutely correct. You know, but also remember that we're also talking about this from a point of view of you also having that for the next person, for the other person. So not just is this expected of others for you, this is expected of you to others that you will be collaborating with. So you have to be tolerant yourself. You have to be able to trust others. You have to be able to be self-aware enough to be able to um, understand other people in terms of their weakness, their strength, and and the differences between both of you. Because if you don't have those things for other people, then the challenge is they might have it for you, but you don't have it for them, and then it happens a lot, especially in marriage. Where they say, "Oh, this thing is one-sided." What is making it one-sided is because the other person might have tolerance and might be willing and ready to tolerate, and like I said, long suffering, keep accepting. When did you get in there? I might have been ready to accept your weakness and stay, but the moment, because I'm just using this as an example, I've seen situations like that where there is a scenario, and and when it was one person's turn, I'm not going to try to use any sex so that it doesn't seem sexist. um Wait, just wait. I'll go this way. um yeah, sorry, a car is trying to pull back. I hope she just can see what she's driving. Oh yeah, you go forward. All right, so sorry. So basically, you have situations like that where one partner is very tolerant of the other one in a certain situation. Maybe there's a situation, but turn but years back, swap that, turn that around, and maybe the other person now becomes the person that faults or does something wrong, and oh my god, I can't stand it, I can't do this, I can't do that. But the person totally forgets that this same level of grace was given to that partner whenever it was his own turn or her turn, when situations like this happened. All right, so that's just to underscore what we're talking about right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so now the other thing about so we talked about the important skills, and I want to talk about the important mindset. The mindset that you need to go into this kind of uh, collaboration. All right, the important mindset that is required. Shh. Hey, 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 shh. So the important mindset that is needed, number one, is the mindset of giving value All right. Um, uh, Now I'll use that more from an example point of view. One of the things I find, in my work as a marketing consultant is, um, you find like maybe people are trying to raise money, or people are trying to get company to work with them, to collaborate with them for an idea or something, but they just feel like, oh yeah, I have the idea. This idea is going to be amazing. This idea is going to benefit me, or is going to benefit, without necessarily thinking, how is it really going to benefit the other person? All right. So they carry that poor mentality of, oh, it's an amazing idea, but it's amazing to who is it amazing to, right? Who really is going to, benefit from this? All right. Who is the other person going to benefit from it, right? So you must go into every relationship, you must go into collaboration with a key factor of the fact that you must bring in value that is valuable to the other person. You have to think about the other person first. You have to think about the other person in terms of how is it going to be beneficiary to the other person. That's the mindset. Because that mindset, what it does, it enables you, what? It enables you to get a quick buy-in from whoever you're trying to collaborate with. Okay. And do you want to say something on that, or I can see your face?
Yeah,
So.
we can just call this reciprocity.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, collaboration requires a kind of reciprocity in the sense that both parties are mutually benefiting from each other.
Yes. So yeah. So but the difference, there's a key difference. The key difference is that, yes, for everything there's always going to be value, but you have to go first with a mindset of what is going to value the other person, and be specific about it. Know what is going to be the value for the other person, because I find this a lot of times. Yes, there's ideas that can benefit each other, but what people do when they're going into collaborations is that they hope the other person can see the value. They hope the other person can appreciate the value, and because it hope that that person would appreciate the value, they don't go with the mindset. They go more with the mindset of, oh, this is how I want it to be, this is how I think it should be, this is how. But how is what you're thinking going to benefit the other person? And if it's not, you should be ready for certain level of adjustment. And of course, if that adjustment is a core adjustment that can in many ways compromise the core of your what it is that you're doing, then maybe you're in the wrong relationship, because you have to find a relationship where you can identify the value to the other person without necessarily um, negotiating or putting down your own ideas or so. Okay, so the other thing is pay it forward. Okay, in collaboration, you have to have the mindset, and we're talking about mindset of paying it forward. Um, there was a time I listened to, I think it was Grant Cardone, and he was talking about was who was it? Okay, he was talking about a particular guy that needed to use his helicopter or something like that, and they were willing to pay. All right. And they really wanted to pay, and etc. But he then, so they called him up and said, okay, so such and such, and that guy, I think he was talking about the guy owning a really big restaurant that just gets filled out, or you know stay on your side of the road. You're in the middle of the road. Go straight. Okay. Sorry about that. Um, so by the time bottom line, he ended up giving off the helicopter at no cost to this guy. And in fact, they offered to pay him. It's not like the guy didn't want to pay him. They offered to pay him. And the guy said, hold on. The guy said, uh, let me pay you. And he said, no, don't pay me. And he then was saying to us that, look, I don't want the guy to pay me. I don't want him to pay me now. I want him to owe me. I want him to owe me. It was very intentional. He says, I want that guy to owe me. Of course, he doesn't. It's not like he's baiting on something. He doesn't really know what he's going to get off the guy eventually. But he knows that whatever this guy would pay him now is nothing compared to um, the feeling of you did something for me that was really gracious, very, and he never knows at what point. I'll give you a smaller situation. There was and this is like a small situation. So there's a lady in the salon that my sister uses, and she was just telling me, she was sharing her own whatever. And you know how all these girls, they, in the salons you have to tip them and all that, but she doesn't do much of that, and people kind of take you for granted when you don't tip as much, etc. So but she was going to have her baby's 1-year-old birthday or something like that, and and then my sister offered her. She has a place where you can celebrate birthdays and all those kind of things. She has a space, and it's in a highbrow area. So of course the space is expensive for someone with a minimal amount of money. And she offered it to her with support and everything for her birthday, for the son's birthday. Now what am I saying? At the end of the day, it was amazing. It was mind blowing for them. I mean, just imagine you maybe say a maid having a birthday bash in New York, somewhere in New York, and it was mind blowing for everybody that knew her and all that. But that was a lesson to her, where she said, look, these other people ignore this lady when she comes in because they feel she doesn't tip as high as they want her to tip and all that. But now all of a sudden everybody wants to be her friend, everybody wants to get her phone number and everything. In collaboration, sometimes many times you have to have the mindset of paying it forward. It's not everything that you need to cash in on immediately, or find the opportunities to cash in on, because you might just be selling your opportunity. You might be selling your blessings for a ruby, for nothing. When if you only paid it forward, you will be reaping much more in later on.
Great.
All right. So are you chipping in, or I should just go on?
No, just go on.
All right. So I'll just talk about a little bit about how collaboration helps. First, it helps you to learn from others. You get to learn a lot from others. You get to because it puts you in an open mind. You have an open mind about things, and then you learn. You learn, if anything, you learn other people's ways. you know there's a lot to learn when you in collaboration. All right, another thing that happens in collaboration is one of the another benefit of collaboration is it opens up new channels for communication, for many things, for opportunities for you to meet with other people, to connect with other people, to find new ideas, etc. All right, I'm just reeling them out quickly. Um, then it leads to, um, of course, collaboration can boost your morale. Yes, it does boost your morale. It boosts your sense of belonging, your sense of um, you know and then of course one of the things you'd find is, if you're in a collaboration, or if you're in partnership with someone, or you're doing something with someone, there's always that rubbing off of energy, especially if you're with someone who has a very good energy. Of course you should be. That's what we're going to talk about here still. All right. So the other thing, it creates collaboration, uh, leads to high retention and becomes more efficient. Retention in the sense that, example, if you've been working with someone for a bit, right, you have the opportunity of having that person work with you on several other projects or several other things. All right, so there's almost like a steadiness to your flow of income, etc. Because you have this partnership. All right, it's one of the things that we experienced in our film business, where we had a partner, we had a partnership with a company in South Africa, and it just helped our business to have a real balance, because at that point we were in relationship with this company, and they were sourcing for films, we were sourcing for films, so there was just that exchange. There was that mutual benefit, like we talked about, but there was also balance, because we had a retainership, like people would say, oh, we want a retainership, or do you have a retainership, etc. So those are the things that, just a few of the points that collaboration really would help with, and those are the benefits that you can get. Now, speaking of how does this work in terms of how does it help you to create a more powerful name or create a powerful name, um, it's because now you have to take all that we just talked about and now be very intentional about the types of collaborations. All right. uh, Remember that you're on a very intentional journey of creating a powerful name. You're not just you're not on a journey of success, just being successful. All right. You're not on a journey of just making money. All right. We've talked a lot in the past series about the benefit of a powerful name and why it is important. So if you add that to the fact that, okay, one of the ways I can do this is to collaborate, you then can be very intentional about what types of collaborations do I need to to help me achieve a powerful name. All right. So um, you would find that you would uh, one of the things you should do is find mentors and people you admire, what they have achieved, and aim to collaborate with them. They will the the beauty of it is, um, you want to find people that are in the space, number one, in the space that you are in. You want to find people, whether mentors or partners or whatever it is. You want to collaborate with people that help your goal. Remember that collaboration is about two people coming together to meet a goal. So there is a goal, and here we've talked about the goal being ensuring that you have a powerful name. And then if that's the goal, or if if it's important to you to create a powerful name, then you would be very intentional about your collaborative efforts, the kind of people that you want to collaborate with, and using the things that I just talked about, in terms of the skills, using understanding the benefits of even collaboration by itself. The only other thing that you just need, put this way now, is to basically pick the right kinds of relationships. Okay, so maybe we want to now talk a little bit about how you can pick the right relationships. So I don't know if you want to chip in something there.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that we have talked a little bit about mentorship in one of the episodes, which is very important here. When you have mentors, when you have people that you look up to, they help you in terms of collaboration, and yeah. So I don't have so much to say. I think you have made the points very, very clear.
Hello.
You're back.
Yes. So sorry. A call came through. All right.
Mm.
So yeah. So the all right. So how do we pick the right kind of collaboration? That's the. I think that's the the question right now. How do you identify the right kinds of collaboration um, in respect to building a powerful name? All right. I think the first and the most common would be number one, find a powerful name. Find a name that and access or find a way to access a powerful name. And there are different levels of powerful names. All right, you may not. I mean, you might find someone. Remember that this is a growth process. This is a process that you're growing. So you may not immediately go from, if your name is not known at all, you may not. It's not impossible. I've seen people go from having no name to waking up to having a powerful name just because of the relationship that they've had. Case in point would be what's this musician's name who Kanye West picked up, who's now a big, what's the young boy's name
Just
from
Justin Bieber.
Justin
Justin
Bieber.
Bieber.
Exactly. So if you have those kind of moments where you can have but I mean, you can see the power of that. Even using that as an example, you can see the power of that association. Immediately just shoots you up and takes you to makes your name known, a household name, or become powerful. So but you can be also intentional about it. A lot of times in the past, we thought these things only happen to, it's a stroke of luck. People, we had this imagination because it always sounds, especially from the media side of things, it always sounds like a stroke of luck. Oh, he was just singing, and then this was there, and then that, you know. But it's not a stroke of luck. You can be very intentional about certain things, and of course, um, you can also be even more intentional by actually trying to have these associations and friendships and connections. You have to keep building relationships that lead you to the place that you want to go. All right. There are all kinds of tactics which I don't want to talk about now, but I mean, in the book, I guess we would be more. It would take a lot more for us to. We'll be able to break down the ways that you can break down this wall that seems impossible to reach. Okay, I'll give you an example of there was a client that we wanted to get, and he is a his it was a well known figure, and he was going to be running for he was going to be running for the presidential. He was going to be a presidential candidate, and my company, my marketing company at that time, wanted to work with him. All right, we had looked at most of the candidates and we chose, okay, this candidate, we kind of believe in his vision and how he thinks and all that, and but we had no access to him. We knew nobody that knew him, etc. All right, and it was very interesting. So we brainstormed and strategized on how do we reach this guy. There's one thing in reaching him. How do we convince him to work with us? He might never have heard about the company before. He's not even based in Lagos, etc. All right, but it was interesting how we eventually got this client. All right, and those are the things that we can reveal in the book. We worked with this client during the entire presidential election, etc. But these are the things that we would reveal more of. What I'm underscoring, that it is possible. It is
So,
possible to connect with even someone that you never thought that you could connect with, if you only just desired it and then you had a strategy towards it.
Yeah, I was a little bit when you said we'll reveal more, as if we are not revealing here.
Oh wait,
Don't
if
you
you
want?
want me to, I just
I
want
just do
to.
that so that we kind of just capture that. I love the story of Justin Bieber and Usher.
Yeah.
Sorry, you mistakenly said Kanye West. It was actually Usher
Oh,
that
sorry, it
discovered
was Usher. Yes, yes,
Usher
yes.
that Justin Bieber. So that
Yeah.
is very powerful. And also, I love the fact that you kind of explained that. Sometimes you may want to collaborate with people, but because you don't have the name yet, you may be wondering how do I get them, and you talked about different strategies, and I think you should explain some of those strategies. The example of Justin Bieber is a very powerful example. Justin Bieber did not just of course he dreamed, being a
Big. Yeah.
big, but he was just a nobody in Canada with his
Yeah.
single mom, and his father abandoned them and all kinds of things, poor. But he said, hey, there is YouTube, let me just
Yeah.
start putting my content on YouTube. That is not just as he said. Somebody may say, while Osha discovering him was just an act of luck.
Mm.
Kind of, but in the real sense, if he had not put his
Put
content
himself
on
out.
YouTube, YouTube would still will not Justin Bieber. Osha wouldn't have discovered him. So you
Yeah.
have to be intentional. I love it when you talked about being intentional about collaborating with people, and you never know. I can, this is not my book, I have quite a lot of anecdotes that I can tell you about this, but because it's not my book, I will not steal it for you. So
No, you can.
I've seen
We're happy with many anecdotes from
yeah
from
I have
anywhere.
I have seen a lot of that in my
Yeah.
personal life, that people that I have never thought in my wildest imagination I will meet. But because I did certain things and somebody knew what I did and that is, and I got free access to them. Now I can call them on phone. They can pick my call. When I tell someone, even if I should tell you now that I have some people that that I have their phone number, that I can call them and they recognize my phone, they can pick. You may be a little bit surprised. So I think that being intentional about it, it's very important that you don't just sit down in your room and start daydreaming or hallucinating that some kind of luck, some kind of happens chance, or some kind of cataclysmic event is going to happen to to bring this person your way. Well, that may happen. I've also seen it on the media. I've seen people that, for instance, there was a guy that was hosted on Ellen's show or something. That guy was his big dream was to meet her. And how did he meet her? He just started putting content on Facebook that my vision is to meet Ellen. My vision, he kept like doing that intentionally, and people started
Mhm.
sharing that. And
Did
Ellen saw it and invited him to his show. Invited
right.
him to our show. That type of thing. So you have to be very intentional and about it. Yes, you may be a nobody, as they said, Nigeria, in that sense, and you may think getting to reach this person, use social media and just you may just go. By the time you do that 100 times, I bet you words are gonna get to that. And I also saw this guy, a small boy,
Mhm.
well, a boy in Nigeria. I think it's not more than 12 years. That is an
Mhm.
artist, right?
Artist. I was about
Yeah,
to say the artist
yeah,
barrier.
yeah. He designed who did he was
The French president.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it got to him. It
Yeah.
got to him, and now he has audience with him. Now he's sponsoring him to school overseas and those type of things. So the intentionality, I think, is very important. But you were talking about this. I want you to still go back to this anecdote about this presidential candidate and just spill the beans.
I spilled a bit. All right, no, there's no problem. So obviously, one of it is obviously being visible, and the other one is obviously being intentional. All right. Then the other thing is being strategic. All right. And there's several strategies. Okay, so I just give you an example of a strategy that we came up with. So we kind of thought, okay, how do we access this guy? We didn't know who really knew him, to make the recommendation. Of course, that's another way. You can find someone that can make the recommendation if you have those kind of relationships, like connecting somebody to connect you with the person. Okay, that's one of it. But this is we didn't have that opportunity and everything. But then it came to us. Number one, he is a candidate and he wants media attention, right? Okay, he this is something he needs right now. He needs a lot of media attention. So we organized we organized with a someone that we knew, to invite him over for an interview. And so, and when he invited him over for an interview at their um, at their media house, so he had to come and do a live interview in the media house, and it was a big youth media house basically. And we we were there, you know. So after so obviously when they came, they introduced us to him, but not as anything, just, oh no, this you know. And at the end of it, we I gave him, I was there myself and one other of our team members and all that, and I gave him my card. Introduced myself, said this is what I do and this is what I can do for you. All right. And then we now he was thinking that it was his media company that he was working with that actually organized that. They were already taking the credit for it, but the media guy told him, okay, well, this is the company that organized this and paid for this for you. And he was like, oh, really? Okay, I thought it was my media guys. But anyways, so you guys, you do this. If you could do this, of course, that means I should listen to you. And that was how meetings went on and on and on. And eventually we got to work with him. So
Mhm.
I'm just saying, you have to be very strategic. You can't meet anybody that you want to meet. You can't meet, but the thing, like I said, first, people respond to value. And you might think that, oh, this person is so rich or this person is so powerful, he needs nothing. No, everybody needs something.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
something always missing in the palace. There's something always missing in the palace. There's something that, because the truth of the matter is that people always need new ideas. People always need disruptive ideas. People always need innovations. There's always something that you can offer, whether it's an addition or it's something new. All right. So you one thing you can be sure of is that nobody's going to pay attention to you if you do not if you cannot express to them how valuable you are to them, how valuable, yes, what value that they are going to get from you or they can get from you, right? Especially when you're going to someone who is higher than you. Unfortunately, people think if I'm lower, then the person that is higher should be the one giving. All right, but it's actually the other way. And I'll give you an example. If you have a big jar, like a jar of oil that is hung up, or you understand, all right, um, and you want to tip it over, all you needed to do was add more extra oil to it, all right, to tip up the whole thing, because now it's over full and it would flow over. So you come with your little, but that little will just tip the whole thing over, and then the person starts pouring out to you. And and since the person has even more abundance, you never know. But it's best to always go with an enriching value that is going to be absolutely useful to the other person. All right. So that's one of the ways that you can collaborate with. In fact, that's the most powerful way to collaborate. Always have value. Always look for, what can I do for this person. And of course, we did our research. We knew that he was lacking in certain things, and we were easily, at one meeting, we told him the things that we told him, the what he the we pointed out the gaps, and immediately we pointed out the gaps, and we didn't just leave it as a problem, but we said, look, but we could do this for you, we could do this, we could do this. We started even giving him some ideas already, so he was like, okay, he was enamored, and then we continued the conversation. Do you understand? And we and that's how we went on. And this has happened in many other situations, all right, even with brands that we've worked with. We've walked in there, and we've done our homework about the brand, and we say, hey, this is the gaps in your brand, and this is what we can do for you. This is where we can plug in on one of the gaps, and right there and there we get the job, all right, because we're plugging into a need. And so same process is applicable to when you are thinking of when you're thinking of a powerful name. How can I really, how can I get how can I collaborate for a powerful name? How can I collaborate so that I can make my name become powerful? All right, so the difference is really just be more intentional, and go for what you want. The goal is, I want to make my name powerful. So you want to partner with names or people that are on that same journey, who really understand what it takes, who will protect their names. Because if you make a collaboration that might be decent, might be good, but the person doesn't really care about his name, all right? So he can mess things up, and then there's a media situation, and he really doesn't care, because as far as he's concerned, he's not concerned about his name, all right? So those are the fine lines that we're trying to draw here, to say you have to be very intentional.
He who walks with the wise becomes wiser, right?
Becomes one.
And
Exactly.
these points, some of these things you have explained, I think are very important, because usually people that do not think they have a name will want to collaborate with other people, but there is usually that feeling that how do I get to them in the
Yeah.
first place? I don't have a name and stuffs like that, and that becomes an impediment, right? But you have to be strategic, just as you said. You have to be very strategic about it. You can meet virtually anybody in the
Any-
world. You can collaborate with anybody if you are very intentional and strategic about it.
yeah.
That may sound simplistic, but it's the reality. If you put your heart in it and you say, this is what I want to do, I want to work with this person in the future, it happens. There are thousands of millions of testimonies about people that came from nowhere and became something. And by just, and one, sometimes all you need to have a name is just one collaboration. You don't
Absolutely.
even need multiple. You just need one person, because if you know one person with a powerful name, he hooks you up
It's a
to his
ripple
entire
effect.
network.
So
And that is how you just, because if everybody that respects him sees him with you, automatically
they said,
they
"Oh, I
say this guy must have
like."
something to offer. That is why it's
Yeah,
important, just as you said, to go
yeah.
after people that have credibility,
Hmm.
not just people that have a name but they don't care about it. I love the fact that you made that distinction. But people that have a name and also protect it, people that have a name and have integrity that goes with it, and such kinds of people, when you are, even if it is just a 30-second interview, they they see you with that
Exactly.
person, and it's, there is a way it just, it changes, it becomes a game changer for you. So
Yeah.
I think people need to be very intentional about collaboration. And one of the things you said also, which is very important, is that you just need to add value to people. You
Yeah.
don't say, "Oh, he's thinkingly rich. He has everything. He has a name. He's
Mm.
powerful. He doesn't need anything. All I want is I want him to help me." And that is how many people do. They just go to someone from nowhere and they just start sending me messages, "Help me." How can he help?
From where from?
How he just imagine he gets that person that you are saying send me, whether it is on
Yeah.
Instagram or Facebook or
Uh-huh.
Twitter, wherever. Imagine how many thousands of such messages he gets.
Hmm.
Help
Exactly.
me, help me. They get
Exactly. Help
thousands
me,
of
help me.
those in a day, right? But if
Right.
you are unique,
Oh,
if you're
goodness.
unique and you just come and saying, I really love what you do, don't
Hmm.
even talk about yourself. This is something that I just want to contribute to you,
To
right?
you,
Why
absolutely.
will the French president pick a Nigerian? Why will I think that boy? I saw another one. Somebody designed Denzel Washington, and
Hmm.
those kinds of. Why will they pick such messages out of thousands? Because
Yeah.
this person came with the idea, I want to add value
Value
to you.
to
I
you.
know you are powerful. I know you are wealthy. I know you have the fame and all those things. But
Yes. And
here
you
is
can get,
something I want to contribute to that. And
yes.
all of a sudden, that person will be like, oh, who is this guy? Who is this guy? I've
Yeah.
got to check him out.
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
to check him out, and before you know it, and because you are coming with value, right? But if you just go, hey, my father is dead, my two
Is
parents
there
died when I was 3. There are
rent has remained
millions
unpaid?
of people whose stories are like
And
that,
have problems.
whether genuine or counterfeit. There
Or
are all
yeah.
celebrities hear those kinds of stories, maybe even more devastating stories than yours. They hear,
You
how do
imagine.
they know? How do they know? But if you come with, hey, I see what you're doing, I just want to add or contribute this, don't even talk about yourself, right? I just want to do this for you. You can never fill somebody's cup. Just like I love that imagery. That was a powerful imagery of the oil thing, adding
Hmm.
oil to a jar and tipping it. I love that imagery. It was so
Hmm.
powerful. So add to their oil. Bring your own. You
Yeah.
may say
Yeah.
my oil is so tiny, it's so little.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
add, just bring it. It may end up being the tipping point. You
Yeah,
never
it
know.
does be the tipping oil.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might just
yeah.
be the one that makes it overflow.
Mm-hmm.
So and one thing that you said that is really key is the motive. All right, the heart speaks. There might be 10 other people who intentionally draw so that they can make money off these people. They don't really care about adding value to these people. After all, they have. Why do I have to add to them? They should give me money. Okay, at least I'm not begging. Buy my artwork. You understand? But why would they buy from you when they probably know people that are more qualified to buy from than
They know the
yourself?
Michelangelos.
Exactly. They know the Michelangelos. Why would they buy from you? So that again is the story. All right. So
In
now,
fact, let me give
yes,
another
please.
anecdote. This just reminds me. There was this, I watched this couple of months ago. Steve Harvey,
Mm-hmm.
a lady did a cake
Mm.
with she designed a cake of Steve Harvey. She really brought it so beautifully, but it
Oh,
was a cake. If you anywhere you see it, you just know this is Steve Harvey, right?
you have it.
She posted it on her Instagram, but guess what? She intentionally did not tag him. She didn't send him a message about it. She didn't do anything. She just did this beautiful cake with Steve Harvey and posted it on her Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happened?
I
People
can imagine.
started resharing
Tagging
that,
Steve Harvey.
tagging Steve Harvey to the point that Steve Harvey got the cake. I mean, that real cake got to him. And he uses his big social media to advertise our products. And he was just like, wow,
Wow.
this is so powerful. I've never met this lady. She didn't even tag me. That was humbling to me. He said, before you know it, I when I saw that, I usually want to just read few comments. People were
Mm-hmm.
like, who is she?
Who is
Within
it?
within a
Within
short
minutes,
minute, her Instagram followership
just
triple, and all kinds of
exactly.
people started giving her orders that she could not even manage. Just things like that. But if she had done this thing, package it in a box, mail it to
And
Steve Harvey, somebody should go to his office, maybe the cake will even get spoiled
but
before,
it will never even get there.
because he gets a lot of those.
Of those,
Yeah,
that's
but she
it.
just did this and just
Right.
and just posted it on Instagram, and people started sharing it, and somehow it got to him. And I think this is what we've been emphasizing. The motive is very important. Yeah.
Yes, the motive is very, very important. And you know so the moment you allow yourself for once to, and that's why at the beginning I kept saying it's about thinking about the other person first. That is just so powerful, right? Because after a while, like, you begin to think, how do I solve other people's problem? You might not just one day solve somebody's problem that is really, really, that can really, really change your life. All right. One of the things I was going to say is, I guess in this chapter, one of the things that we will encourage people to do is write 10 people, 10 names, or even more people that you admire. But you can admire somebody and not really want to meet the person, but people that you think, powerful names that you would hope to one day meet and collaborate with. All right, because it is useful to be
I
very
have
intentional.
I
Write
have
things down.
I have more than 20 of them written down.
Written down.
And some of them I have already met them anyway.
Absolutely,
Yeah. And when I was
absolutely.
writing it at that point, it was like whimsical. It was just like an illusion. This is not gonna happen. But some of them have met, not physically, but now I have their contact. I can talk with them, and there is that receiver. So I think it's very important writing it down, and thinking about it, seeing it. If you write it down, you are more than halfway to getting it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you also have to clearly state that I would love to meet this person. I would like to collaborate because I have so much value that can be useful to the person.
Mhm.
You might not even identify exactly what it is, but that's what you would write. You would confess that you have so much value in you that would be so helpful to the other person. So it puts you in that mindset, that constant mindset of not trying to make collaborations for the sake of you, or for the sake of, but for the sake of genuine connectivity and connection that actually that actually promotes valuable relationships.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? You can't on there. You straight.
Do you still have
You
more
know.
points?
I think we kind of exhausted that now. Yes, that's it. That's it for me today.
All right. Yeah, good. Then.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's it. Collaboration is powerful, and it's definitely one fast. I would call it. I wouldn't want to use the word fast way, but it's one effective way to um, increase your name, build your name, and obviously, and then just imagine the confidence you build, even just having these relationships go straight. um, the confidence that you build having these relationships, it's amazing. It just opens you up to so many things, and one of it is gives you so much confidence to become more and more and more and more of who you are. And then you start maybe even finding mentors in these people. Like you said, you have access to these people now, and you can call them up and you could say, hey dude, I was thinking of this, what do you think? It could just be what do you think kind of scenarios. And and they could be life-saving or empowering. 10 seconds.
Mhm. A word of maybe a caveat, even as we wrap it up, that needs to be said is
Yeah.
when you succeed in doing that, don't abuse it.
Oh, goodness.
when
We
when
couldn't say
you
that more.
yeah, don't abuse the privilege, because some people you can get a thing and also spoil it by yourself, right? You are fortunate to have this person's name, and all of a sudden you become a pest, right? All of a sudden you
Yeah.
want to just call them at random, you want to send them messages, or you want to just like start, you
Or
know
you become upset that they didn't respond to you
yeah, and you
at
you
the
want to
time that you
start.
thought.
No, you feel entitled.
Yeah,
No,
you
no,
start
don't.
getting entitled.
Yeah, don't never abuse the privilege. Never,
Or you start announcing to everyone how you have this person's contact, and the person is just a phone call away.
or
You know what I mean?
maybe
Like you start
it's,
bragging.
or you even start
Oh.
saying he was the one that looked for me. That kind of thing. It happens. It
You start
happens a
lying.
lot in Nigeria. It's like, yeah, I'm telling you my value. This was the guy that we see it in the movies, but it happens in real life. People can, unfortunately, people behave that way. So I think we just need to put the word out there that when you have the privilege to collaborate and people, this network of people that you have never imagined will come to you and you have access
Mhm.
to them, don't spoil it, because this type of people
Don't
too,
spoil it.
they know it. If
Oh
you
my
want to, just misuse the privilege, they cut you off and off you're gone.
okay.
So
Okay,
don't misuse it if you have the privilege. Yeah.
absolutely. So, and of course, like he's mentioned, there are many ways, and we've mentioned some of it already. There are many ways you can misuse it. All right. So, in case you don't understand the many ways, we've just mentioned a few of it right now. Being entitled, being disrespectful, putting the person in harm's way, by talking about, because people can try to use you to get to the person just because you've opened up to that. And yeah, absolutely. And there's so many other ways um, that you can definitely abuse a relationship. So cherish when the door is open. Make sure that you cherish that access, and then you don't abuse it. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
By the way, for some reasons, we can go off now. But
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, going off. All right. Take care.